I got these cattle their breakfast, and while I was giving them their breakfast, I took a good hard look at the animals, and I have reasonably concluded that I'll probably have about 4 or 5 animals a month that will be ready for market at over 800 pounds. And so the big idea with the investment strategy and the big idea with my investment, the big picture idea, right? What I talk about is the big picture. The whole big picture of this situation is that I have a credit card, right? I talk about this. I have a credit card. If it comes down to it, I have a credit card, and I can use that credit card for, whatever may happen, okay? At the end of the day, I have a credit card. There's no reason for me to sit around with cash. This is one of the things, right now, one of the big limiting factors for my business is my preconditioning pen. I don't really have, I need a larger preconditioning space. I do need more area to precondition calves on, and that's one of my big limiting factors right now. And so when I take a look at all this, I don't want to be sitting on cash, okay? That's the thing, is that, cash, it doesn't do anything, okay? The whole thing about this is that, a good investment is worth money, right? That's the whole idea. And, that's the whole idea, okay? From what I see, I am much better off. Like, why would I hold on to $2,500? Why would I hold on to $25,000 why would I hold on to whatever sum of money? Let's say $5,000. Why would I hold on to $5,000 if I could have 4 cattle instead? I would rather have 4 cattle, right? Or, it's like if I reasonably anticipate that I will make whatever, $2,500 an animal after it's all said and done, or whatever. On average, I'll make $2,500 an animal. Why would I sit on $5,000 if I could just hold on to the 2 animals, and next month the animals would be worth $5,400? Right? I would rather hold on to the cattle. So that's the big picture right now, is that I don't want to sit on cash. And so the whole thing about it is that I will just liquidate enough animals so that I have enough money to keep my preconditioning area full. That's the big picture idea right now, okay? The big picture idea right now is to just liquidate enough animals to keep my preconditioning area full, and to keep my preconditioning area at a maximum capacity, and to start expanding the herd, right? That's the big idea, is to expand my herd as rapidly, as stably as I can, all right? And I got this whole thing, squared away. But I'm much better off with an investment. I'm much better off with a good investment. And if it comes down to it, I have a credit card, okay? I have a credit card, and whenever I pay myself at the end of the month, if I have a credit card statement, I can just pay for it, all right? I'm not concerned about it, okay? The thing about me is that I don't have a spending problem. That's one of the things that really helped me in my life, is that, I don't have a spending problem. I actually think it's a waste of time to go out of my way to spend money. I actually see that as a waste of time. Why would I do that, right? I mean, if I want to buy anything, I can effectively just buy anything, okay? I have a credit card, and reasonably, I would anticipate that I have at least 4 or 5 animals ready to go at the end of every month. Every single month. And in all honesty, if I sell 4 or 5 cattle at 800 pounds, and I buy these cattle at 2.25, if I buy these cattle at 225 pounds, I'll probably end up about doubling my money. All right, I'll probably end up selling. Let's say I sell 5 cattle, I could sell 5 cattle. I could buy 10 cattle, and I could still probably buy, whatever. I could still probably buy, I could sell my 5 cattle. I could buy 9 cattle. I could buy a load of grain and a tonnage of fertilizer, 2 tonnages of fertilizer. I probably can, okay? My animals are doing well, all right? They're probably going to hit the scale a little bit heavier than 800, all right? They'll be about 800 or whatever it may be. They'll be about 800. So, I will be ready to liquidate animals. I do have animals that are ready for liquidation, and the big idea with liquidations is to just liquidate as many animals as I need to liquidate, so that I have enough money to just do whatever it is that I need to do. And the big idea with what I need to do right now is grow the business. That's the big idea, is grow the business, okay? I'm looking to grow my business. You know, the equity in the animals is my money. That's where I make my money. You know, I'm looking to grow the size of my herd. And if I grow the size of my herd right now, I would effectively have to leverage. And that's also the thing. If I sell 5 animals and I buy 9, if I sell 5 animals and I buy 10, if I sell 5 animals and I make enough money to buy 10, but I buy 9, I make enough money to buy 11, but I buy 9, and then I would still, be reasonably looking to leverage for another 5 or 6 animals. All right, to keep my balance sheet at a 80% leverage. To keep my balance sheet at its 80% leverage, I would have to be leveraging against my earnings too. All right, for that to happen, for me to keep my balance sheet at an 80% leverage, I would have to, I would be looking to leverage against my balance sheet. And it's not that I have to. That's what I've reasonably deduced, right? That's what I'd be looking to do. And so the cattle are all walking over there to get a drink of water. But that's what I'd be looking to do, okay? And so, with everything going on, I would reasonably anticipate that I end up liquidating about 5 animals a month, and that'll probably put about 10 animals in the preconditioning pen, and those 10 animals I would have to leverage against 5 of them. So realistically, now we're talking about 15 animals. I'd be selling 5 and buying 15 a month. And if I buy 5 animals, if I sell 5 animals and I buy 10 animals, then that 5 animals, the 5 animals that's positive equity for me. All right, so if I sell 5 animals and I buy 10 animals, and when I sell my 5 animals, I still have 26 animals at home. Those 26 animals are worth money, and those 26 animals have gone up in value, and they've gone up in value to where it's put my overall balance sheet in a positive equity situation, right? And so if I go and I sell my 5 biggest animals, that still leaves me with 26 animals at home. I have 31 animals right now, so that still leaves me with 26 animals at home, right? And those 26 animals, a very simple way of looking at this is next month I will have another 5 animals ready for sale, and those 5 animals will probably be over 800 pounds. So, I mean, think about it in terms of what is that value, right? It's probably about as much as the check in my hand. All right, it's probably about as much value as the check in my hand. And so, but also when I take a loan, the money that I make on top of the bank's money is also my money too. And so this is also what I mean by pool number 2 is going to start growing very rapidly. And that's also why I have decided to leverage against pool number 2. I do need to start leveraging against pool number 2, but that's how I work my financials. And when I talk about this stuff, right, and I've spoken about this, and I've actually boiled it down to something. The difference between an idea and an opinion. All right, I've always said nobody cares about an opinion. Keep your opinions to yourself. All right, if you want to speak your opinion, which a lot of people do, all right, if you want to give your opinion and it's some kind of a moronic thing, then I pray for you and I hope that you turn your life around, but I'm not here to save you, okay? And the difference between an idea and an opinion is that opinions, this is what I boiled it down to, is that opinions tell you what to think and ideas show you how to think. There is a major difference. And, if we're going to talk about this in terms of money, right, what are some opinions about money? You have to be a bad person to make money. That's an opinion. What's an idea about money? What's an idea? There are things that are worth money that are not money, right? And, what's another idea? Money doesn't do anything. When money gets invested, the big picture is to take that money and make a positive return. That's an idea. Money makes you a bad person. Money is evil. That's an opinion. How did you come to that conclusion? Right? Did you just, why did you come to that conclusion? Is it, why, right? There is no basis for your claim. Money does not make you a bad person. All right, money is a piece of paper. All right, it doesn't do anything. You know, you got bad people and you got good people, but that's the thing. You know, that's what I boiled it down to. You know, I was talking about this whole thing a couple of weeks ago about opinions and ideas, and you don't want to be in a situation where you have a bunch of opinions and no idea. You have zero ideas and you have a bunch of opinions. You don't want to be in that situation. I fell out of heaven a 7 in my life's a magical journey. That's an opinion. An idea would be, well, I have been reading books on cattle diet, and I found this website where you can read published scientific papers for free. And from what I have seen, you can legitimately just go on the internet and read about any diet, cattle diet that you could possibly think of. It's already all been done. That's an idea. I was taking a look at different cattle diets, and I found a published scientific paper that was talking about the growth stages of grass and how the feed values of different grasses change during its maturation cycle, and how fertilizing can affect that, and how different types of grass have different feed values. And I read about this paper, and then I found 5 or 10 other papers that effectively deduced the same reasonable conclusion. Right? And I found this website. That's an idea. I fell out of heaven a 7 in my life's a magical journey, and I'm going to go on a trip to Disneyland. That is an opinion. That's not an idea. Nobody cares about your opinion, all right? And the whole thing about it, and I've even talked about this, like when I'm like right now, I have a perennial grass that's in middle vegetation that has, it's in middle stage vegetation, and it has not been fertilized. The feed values of the grass are producing a manure score in the animals from a 1 to a 10. With 1 being absolute rock solid dumps, and number 10 being straight liquid gas. The manure's at about a 4. And so I've been taking a look, I've been reading, and I've always said, a couple of diets that I use. One of the diets that I use is grass and distiller grains. I've said this for years, right? And you can go on the internet, and I've always said, don't take my word for it. Go on, you can go on the internet nowadays and you could read published scientific papers for free. You can legitimately read them for free. You don't even need to go to a library. You can even read them on your phone. I do that sometimes. Like on my lunch break, I'll read a couple of scientific papers. You can read this stuff on the internet for free. All right, and whatever it is that you're looking to feed your animal, just understand that you can go on the internet and read published scientific papers on it for free. I can almost guarantee it. Whatever it is that you're feeding your animal, you're not some, you didn't come up with some magical thing. I can almost guarantee it. Whatever it may be. You could be feeding your animal bread, and I guarantee it, somebody on the internet, or somebody, has already published something about feeding cattle bread or chocolate or whatever it may be. All right, someone's already published papers on it, and and talked about the feed values of whatever it may be. Cacti, that's another interesting one. I can almost guarantee it. Somebody has already, fed it to cattle and taken a look at the feed values of the feedstuffs and already published information about it. And you can read this stuff on the internet for free nowadays. It's all for free. You don't have to pay anything, okay? And so, that's the difference between an idea and an opinion. And we cannot turn into a society that is full of opinions. I fell out of heaven a 7 in my life's a magical journey. Nobody cares. All right, died poor. All right, we need to encourage having ideas. All right, you really want to be discussing your ideas. You don't want to be discussing your opinions. If you're going around, telling people what to think, that's not good. All right, and I've even said this multiple times and repeatedly, and I don't even know how else to put it. Honest to God, God knows that I have said this, and I sincerely mean it. Don't take my word for it. All right, don't take my word for it. Go out and take a look at it for yourself. I've told you where I find my information. This is not the only way. There are many things. Like, if you could feed your animals corn gluten pellets, you could feed your animals alfalfa, right? I mean, and I've given you examples of the diets that I use to hit at least 2.5 pounds a day, right? And I've told you what in terms of the metrics that I utilize for the feedstuffs to determine what kind of a feedstuff should I give the animal, right? TDN, energy, crude protein, total mixed rations, and mixing, whatever it may be, whole corn, what distiller grains, whatever it may be. I've even discussed some of the diets that I have used that have been successful for me, like soybean and corn, grass and distiller grains, right? Hay, distiller grains, and corn, right? I mean, there are, and I discussed the idea of keeping track of your animal's manure, right? If you want to see what's going through your animal at that moment in time, you should consider the animal's manure. Look at the animal's manure. What does it look like? Are they having diarrhea? Are they pooping out rock hard dumps? I mean, what's going on, right? And I've even said that a 10 is liquid gas, and number 1 is it's just like they're just pooping out clumps. They're just pooping out balls, effectively, right? And and the whole thing. And I've even said that I don't come up with this stuff, all right? And the whole thing about my situation is that I effectively made it, okay? I do very well for myself. I'm not concerned about money. Nobody's paying me to do anything. Trust me. If you're not going to be useful, then go and do something else, because I don't care. All right, I sincerely, it doesn't matter to me. I make enough money to where money effectively does not matter. Do I have, do I have myself a private jet and whatever? No, but nothing is worth my peace of mind. Okay, nothing. There is no value to my peace of mind. There is no. I'm not gonna say there's no value to it. There is no monetary figure that would cost that I would pay for my peace of mind. All right, right now I make about $30,000 a month, and in all honesty, I will probably end up making myself about $70,000 a month within about 5 months. And and in all honesty, I don't even see any. I don't think I'll have any difficulty going to about $175,000 a month. I don't see myself having much difficulty going to $2 million a year. I don't. All right, and that's what I've said. That's what I'm working on right now. Right, I'm at $30,000 a month. I'm going to $70,000, and I don't think I'll have any problems going to $2 million a year. I don't think I'll have any issues. And so that's what I'm going for. And how long do I think that will reasonably take? Maybe about a year and a half. All right. Maybe by about the end of next year, I will have gotten it. I will have done it. All right. And that's what I'm working on. And reasonably, I really want to get myself into I'm not going to say I want to. I'm looking, in terms of a longer term goal, I am looking to get myself to about $10 million a year within 3 years. That's the big idea. I'm really looking to get myself to $10 million a year within 3 years. That's the big idea. Okay. And if I legitimately if I legitimately make 10 million a year liquid money, and you put a 15 times multiplier on that, let's say that I get to 10 million and I've reasonably deduced that I could probably do more. I still have a reasonable idea for growing my business. Let's say I get to 10 million and I still have a reasonable idea for growing my business. And you put a 15 times multiplier on that. That would put me at $150 million net worth from just my business. My business would have assets, right? I may have $2 or $3 million worth of cattle. I may have another, $5 million worth of land. All right, and if we're gonna, if I was gonna sell the whole thing as a business, the land and the assets and everything, I mean, we could be talking about over like a 250, maybe even like a $300 million net worth. I don't worry about money. All right, I don't worry about money. I effectively, and the thing about me is that I just don't have a spending problem. And I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm not. But I actually think that spending money is a waste of time. If I want to buy it, I just buy it. I don't go out of my way to go shopping. All right, I just buy it. I don't care. Granted that I'm not at the Lamborghini dealership buying 4 Lamborghinis. And you know, within a year or two, I may even be able to buy 5 Lamborghinis, and it may not even matter. But what am I going to do with 5 Lamborghinis, right? I mean, that's legitimately how I see it. I think shopping's a waste of time. Why would I go out of my way to shop? Why would I do that? If I want to buy it, if I see something and I legitimately want to buy it, I just buy it because it's not worth wasting my time thinking about whether or not I should buy it. That's how I see it. I don't go out of my way to go shopping. I don't go out of my way to spend money. It's a waste of time. You know, if I want to buy it, I just buy it. I don't care. All right, I can effectively buy anything on the entire planet, just about. You know, and so, but in this whole, the Charlie Kirk thing. I think that one detail that needs to, that there needs to be a lot of emphasis on about this Charlie Kirk thing, about this Charlie Kirk situation, is that this kid is apparently very smart. Tyler Robinson, apparently he is very smart. Like a full ride scholarship to university and a perfect GPA. 4.0 GPA and a full ride scholarship to university. Apparently he's real smart. And he may, if he had a lot of time to put this together, I mean, it should be considered that he may be playing some kind of a 3-dimensional chess. You got to think about the possibility of that. He may have set this whole thing up. He may have staged the weapon, and he may have gone through this whole thing step by step. And the guy who worked with them, or whoever, they may be walking around out there in the world right now. They may be, whoever, but this kid is apparently very smart. This Tyler Robinson guy, apparently he's very smart. 4.0 GPA, full ride scholarship to university and everything. So, he may be playing some kind of 3-dimensional, chess. He may have set the whole thing up. He may have, and my whole thing is like, my whole thing about the trans and the gay and whatever is, the thing about it, like, I don't care. Like, if you're gay, that's fine. Because my whole thing is like if you get hard-ons for dudes, then I mean, then it is what it is. I mean, like if you're a dude and you're not gay and you see another naked dude, it's like you almost want to throw up. You're right, like you can't make that up. All right, and if you're a dude and you legitimately like enjoy seeing other dudes naked or whatever, whatever, it may be to be gay. If that's you, then, I mean, you're not making it up, right? I mean, it's not possible to make that up. Like, if you're when you're a straight dude, I will talk about being straight. When you're a straight male, if you see another dude naked, it's kind of like, it makes you like want to vomit. All right? It's not like something that you want to see all the time. All right. And if you're gay and, if you're a guy or you're a girl and I don't know what it means to be gay. I mean, if that's one thing about being gay is that you like seeing dudes naked. Like if you're a dude and you like seeing dudes naked and that's a part of being gay, then you can't make that up. And if you're gay, then, and I don't care. I mean, go and be gay. It doesn't matter to me. All right. And, if you're trans, it doesn't matter to me. If that's legitimately what keeps your boat afloat, it doesn't matter to me, okay? You should just be happy with yourself, all right? Don't go and ask people for opinions. Don't ask, don't go and looking for validation from man, okay? Because a lot of people are idiots. All right, and, the whole thing about this, but apparently that Tyler Robinson guy is real smart. And, if he had a lot of time to cook up something, I mean, he may be playing some kind of 3-dimensional chess. He may have, planned the whole thing out. And the guy but it's real difficult to get a fine exact idea of what happened if there's no smoking gun. And, you know, I don't think that that was a 30-06. And so he may be playing some kind of three-dimensional chess. Whoever shot, you know, he may have, you know, he may have set the whole thing up. Apparently this kid is real smart. Like he got a lot, you know, and I took a look at a picture of this guy, Tyler Robinson. I've taken a look at several pictures of this guy, and the guy, you know, you know, he may be a psychopath. You know, if you take a look at his face, you know, it's what I call a flat face. He's got a flat face. He's got no creases in his forehead. He's got no creases in his eyes. He doesn't seem like he's concerned about anything. You know, he might just be an intelligent psychopath. And you know, he's got what I call a flat face. And he's got no creases in his forehead. He's got no creases by his eyes. You know, his face is just kind of flat, and he might just be an intelligent psychopath. And apparently he's real smart. You know, I watched this thing on a lady, you know, who discussed the facial features of psychopaths. You know, why do psychopaths have that kind of a stare? Like, why is it that when you look at a psychopath, you kind of just pick up like something isn't right in their face? And this lady was talking about it, the psychologist was talking about it, and she said it's because they don't have creases. They don't have creases in their face because they don't show any signs of concern for anything. Like, they don't show any sign of concerns for anything. Because if you have any kind of a concern as a normal person, your face kind of tenses up, right? You kind of tense up your face, and that tensing of your face puts creases. Right, puts creases in your face, in your forehead, and beside your eyes and things like that. You know, when you show signs of concern, your face tenses up, and that's why she was saying, you know, like psychopaths, the reason that their face looks like that is because they don't show any signs of concern ever. They're not concerned about anything. Like, you know, they don't feel a distress, or, you know, they don't feel concerned about anything. And so they don't develop any creases in their face. And I was like, you know, this guy got a real flat face. You know, his face don't got any creases in it. His forehead don't got any creases in it. His eyes don't have any creases by the eyes. And this guy, he is apparently very smart. He might be playing three-dimensional chess. He may have thought this whole thing through before he did it. You know, he may have staged that rifle, put the empty brass in the chamber. He may have texted his boyfriend. He may have texted his boyfriend exactly what he planned to text his boyfriend. Right? He may have set this thing up. You know, and the guy who actually shot Charlie Kirk may be getting away. All right, you know, I don't. But apparently, this guy is real smart. Real smart, like a nerd. Perfect GPA, full ride educational scholarship, everything. And so, you know, there's a lot going on. All right, you know, and he may have planned this whole thing out. And who, you know, and I took a couple of pictures. I took a look at a couple of pictures of the guy, and he has zero signs of any kind of creasing in his face. He's got a flat face. He might be an intelligent psychopath. And he might be playing three-dimensional chess, all right?